Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday Night Live Stream. We hope all y'all had a great week. Thanks for being here tonight. CW, how was your week?
I had a marvelous week. Absolutely marvelous. Got to the range. Did a little bit of shopping. Good, just an overall good week. I finally picked up a 400 Legend rifle. It's like 16 months I was waiting. Last Sunday, I went to the local dealer, place where I worked like 25 years ago, and I talked to the girl there who was just a little toddler in her dad's arms when I was working there. And I said, that's the whole story. I told her the whole story, and she looked it up, and we actually found what I wanted, but I couldn't get it. So I settled for a Savage 110 Hog Hunter. They had 6 or 7 of them in stock. She ordered it out, shipped on Monday. It arrived yesterday. I picked it up last night, and I was at the range today, and it's a shooter. And I am very happy. Videos are coming.
Nice.
So, really nice.
Cool.
Ricky, how was your week?
It's pretty good. Another work week, but did take Penny to the doctor this week and got some kind of good news. They gave her a couple of shots in her hand, help relieve some of that pain. And we had a fish fry at work today, so I'm still stuffed from work. So
Good deal.
that's about it for me, though.
I like good fish fry. Rebel, how was your week?
The business was okay. I was still in a little bit of pain from my malady of the week before, and but getting over that just fine. I didn't burn a hole in my stomach with ibuprofen, so that's a good thing. At least not yet.
That's a good thing.
And yeah, that's a good thing. Tonight I came home. The wife had to work a double. She's on call, so I asked my very geeky daughter what she wanted for supper, and she looked at me, and as strange as she looks, bless her heart, I still think she's beautiful because she's my daughter. She said, "Dad, I really want corned beef and cabbage." I went, "All right, redneck, we'll just go." And so I made her corned beef and cabbage tonight. And she's happy at a oyster dipped in crap. I'll tell you, she loves that stuff. That's all I got.
That's a couple of hours work there.
Well, it is. It was rough standing on the knee. She came in, let the dogs out for me, and did all the things. And do you need anything, Dad? I said, yeah, I need this knee removed and stick it in the freezer for a little bit. But she's a good kid. She's a good
deal.
kid.
Good deal. Gene, how was your week?
Mr. Dark Vader. Went pretty good. Week was really good. Went fast. I finally got the dryer completely rebuilt at work that we run all the brass through. It'll handle as much as you can feed through it. It's a big rotating tumbler. It's a big rotating tumbler that just keeps drying it out and feeding it through into the dry media, man. It's really cool. Finally got it finished today, working, and actually got to throw some brass through it to dry it, give it a good try out. Everything's good to go. I got a couple new dots in from Zulisi. I got a Z1R and a Otter Pro, which are both RMSC footprints, so I'll have videos out on them very soon. I got some more stuff coming in from Better Holsters to test and review. Really cool. Other than that, I had a good week. I'm glad it's the weekend, though. I get to start off with my favorite bunch.
Walter.
Hey, everybody. Well, to be honest, I'm struggling trying to overcome some medical mayhem, and I'm not doing very well with it right now. I'm tired and wore out. And I'd say I was pissed off, and some of you guys would get the joke because you know what happened. But anyway, I did manage to get a few videos out this week, and just kind of working on them a half hour at a time or so, and hope to be back to normal next week, but I'm glad to be here. I'll only be here maybe 30 minutes or so and just kind of long enough to say hey to everybody. So, hey, everybody. Ow, don't do that. Anyway, yeah. Hey, I got a couple reviews that came out this week, and I got a couple more to come out next week of some products and stuff that I've actually been sitting on for a while. And so I haven't been to the range, though, in a couple of weeks, and it'll be another couple of weeks before I can get there and do any shooting. So I got to hopefully get healed up enough here to get some casting done. I got a couple of new molds that I want to go cast, and plus I just want to go cast. So anyway, that's my story. Mr. Lusk, knock, knock, knock. How you doing? How's your
Good
week?
evening. It's funny that you mention casting because I had the opportunity. I actually had 2 days off in a row, which is the first time in probably 3 years.
Wow.
And the wife was out of town on a beach vacation with her sister. And so it was just me and the dogs. And I decided to break in the brand new Lee mold for my 1891 Argentine.
Woohoo!
And these bullets are beautiful. I can't wait to get them coated up and sized and at least make one dummy just so I can see what it looks like. But that's what I've been doing. And, of course, I didn't make a video because you can't do that anymore. Yeah, that's what I've been up to. Got to work again tomorrow. Might have to work on Sunday. I don't know. But, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Welcome, brother. Hit Billy up. How was your week, man?
Ah, man, good to see each and every one of you. I had a pretty good week. Couldn't complain much. Wouldn't do any good if I did. And, but yeah, the weather's not been. We've had rain, but we've not hit that hot, humid, part yet. So basically, it's been trying to get a lot of stuff done outside. Basically, stuff in the yard, stuff around the house, and all that, and shoot some videos. So, I like to get all that done before it gets real hot because then, I just want to get in the swimming pool and cool off, if I'm outside once that starts. So, anyway, man, thanks for having me, guys and girls.
Thanks for being here, man. It's been a relatively cool summer around here so far, but today I got in my car this afternoon. It was 95 outside. My son said he went and got a rental car for his work, and he said it was 92 in that car.
It was hot.
Hey,
It's pure.
thanks for being
it's
here.
pure swamp up here.
Yeah, the humility will kill you.
Yeah. We had
Speaking
one
of rain there, Hillbilly, when I got home from work, I got a phone call, and it was a buddy of mine saying, hey, why don't you ride down to the house, get my truck, and go to another buddy of mine's house and see if you can pull his RV out of the yard. He's wanting to go camping, and he can't get his RV out of the yard. It sank down there to the axles.
He may
Oh,
have
like-
to do a staycation instead.
I was like, oh, my God. I get out there, and I ended up getting it out, but I pulled it sideways because I couldn't just pull straight back, So I was at an angle, and I ended up just pulling the whole RV sideways. I was like,
Wow.
damn, this truck's a tank. It's a death trap.
Whatever
It's a
it takes,
tank.
huh? You betcha. And we did have one hot day, and that was the day I had to replace a phosphorus hydrant, and that comes up out of the ground. And yeah, I know I thought everybody knew what those were, but I've actually found out that some people don't know. So, like, you'll see them on farms or whatever. Basically, it's just, metal pole comes up out of the ground. You got your water on and off, and when you shut it off, it bleeds back down in the ground so it don't freeze. Well, I had one that's 27 years old, and it finally just gave up. So we replaced that for around the first of the week. And that day it was hot and humid. So that's why I got the haircut. I'm like, okay, it's time to get the haircut. So,
Well, you ain't the only one, brother. Everybody got their summer cut, but me. I mean,
Hair's overrated. God made very few perfect heads. The rest he gave hair.
look at
Wife managed
everybody.
to cut mine this week because it was getting long because she couldn't raise her arm up. She managed to do it this week for me.
Everybody got their summer cut. Even my dog Meanie got a summer cut a week or two ago. We got some good folks out there populating the side chat. So welcome all of y'all. Garen Wilson. We'll call y'all out at the bottom of the hour. So y'all hang around and we're going to be coming up with something. I love you, Daniel, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
Is he starting already? Goodness gracious.
Yes.
Yeah. You know,
You need some new material, dude.
yeah, well, you know, he's in Ohio. He's retired. He, you know, don't have a lot to do. But
We always knew that
He's
Daniel
more he's more towards the Pennsylvania line, so that don't go there.
He could learn how to make cornbread.
that would be a good pastime for him in the short term. Do y'all want to go ahead and start with the topic for this evening?
Sure.
Why,
We're talking
yes.
like the present.
Do it.
Well, I bet you this one's going to last all night long. I made an executive decision, although I'm not near qualified to do something like that. But I decided that since there's so many Marlin models coming out around the same time, I thought that it might be best for us to go ahead and cover the Winchester Model 94 this evening and save the Marlins for next week and talk about quite a few and what they led to. And I found a really good article on that. So I hope y'all.
I'm looking forward to this. I've never heard of Winchester 94.
What?
Okay.
I'm joking.
I was about to say, are you serious?
Absolutely not. So, y'all know we've been covering the Winchesters and the Marlins and the Kennedys and all the lever guns we could think of. Absolutely, Mr. Bob. I don't dress for the job I have. I dress for the job that I want to have.
No, you want to be retired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't we all?
Yep.
There's lots of lever guns on this panel, Garen. I guarantee you. Yeah. AKA Jamie didn't get his homework done. Come on, Tex. You know better than that. I spent every bit of at least 30 minutes researching this topic. Come on, guys. As a matter of fact, Garen, let me put this up here. Any love for Henry? I think Henry was like the second one we covered, right? The 1860 Henry?
Yep.
No, it was the first.
Yeah.
And we just kind of back covered the ones that preceded that one.
Yeah,
Because
I was going to say, I don't remember what order it was, but I know we did cover it.
Or is he
Henry was
talking about
pretty much-
today's Henrys?
well, yeah, Viejo down there's got a closet full of the modern Henrys, which is a totally different company, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They just took the name. They didn't take the company.
Well, there wasn't a company left. Oliver Winchester had already abducted with that, right?
Yep.
What he could get of it.
Someone has absconded with my Henrys.
Yeah. Okay. So the 91.
Oh my!
I mean, the Winchester 94 is probably it is the most produced, largest selling, most iconic of all the Winchester rifles. All right. Question for the panel and the side chat. Who designed the Winchester Model 94?
Samuel Colt.
John Moses.
Yeah, I think it was Browning.
It was Mr. Browning.
Preacher's day off. We love you, brother. Lever gun talk. That's so 19th century. Yes, it is. Yeah, it was John Moses Browning. John Browning design like the 86 and the 92.
I've heard that name before. He must be very active in the firearm industry.
He was.
So I think the Winchester plant was in New Haven, Connecticut. Is that right, CW?
It was for a while, yeah.
Okay, so that closed in 2006, according to my research.
They got tired of the madness.
And by that date, 7 million had been produced, and 70% of those in a single cartridge, one single cartridge. So, like I was saying, the Browning, John Browning designed like the 86 and the 92. This one introduced America to the smokeless powder cartridge market. So if you remember, and we've covered both of these before, the 86 and the 92 are basically the same design. The 86 is just bigger for rifle size cartridges, and the 92 is smaller for the pistol length cartridges. So John Browning, pondering that design, thought of ways to make it better, and that's what became the 94 action. So now at the same time, Winchester is playing with this new stuff called smokeless powder. And they had been developing this cartridge that they call the Winchester, the 30 caliber Winchester centerfire. So, but when the 94 was ready, it was introduced in 3240 and 3855. And they had the same case head. So, and Ballard, this guy named Ballard, y'all know him from the single shot rifles that Marlin was manufacturing for him. Ballard had already introduced these cartridges in the Marlin rifles of the same time period. So Winchester took that same case head, same case, and basically negged it down to 30 caliber, and that became the 30-30 Winchester. Something I learned about doing this: there never was a 30-30 black powder cartridge.
Nope.
It was smokeless powder from its inception, and the first like it on the American market. It is said that the 30-30 got the balance right. It was the blend of the power, the recoil, the size, and supposedly does everything you need a moderate hunting cartridge to do. It wasn't a buffalo rifle, and it didn't need to be. It was a great middle of the road cartridges, and possibly that's what made it so popular. And add to the mix a great John Browning designed rifle. You have a classic combination. From the 1860 Henry up to the 1894 Winchester. 34 years of development, trial and error, and finally, in the Winchester and Marlin rifles, these are about as good as a lever gun can get. The smokeless powder mate was more efficient. It required less cleaning, had higher velocity, less smoke at the muzzle, and black powder topped out at about 1,500 feet per second. Whether you're talking about the small pistol type cartridges or the bigger, more powerful rifle cartridges with heavier payloads, they still 1,500 to 1,600 feet is about what black powder is going to do. So the 30-30 was just under 2,000 feet per second. Small bore, high velocity round that worked well, worked very well, and it was very popular. Y'all want to see a little bit of a video?
Why, sure.
See if I can do this.
We know you can.
So let's take a look. Let me show you the mechanical changes to this system. We'll compare it to the 92, and you can see what changed over just the course of a couple of years and why the 94 really is a better design. There will be some variation in barrel markings, but here is this particular 1894, top of the octagonal flat barrel. You'll also sometimes on round barrels find the markings on the side, but manufactured by the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, New Haven, Connecticut, still. One new marking on the model of 1894 is this one, nickel steel barrel, especially for smokeless powder. Pretty much all of Browning's lever action designs were capable of handling smokeless powder pressures as long as they were manufactured with proper modern steels. But that wasn't the case with all of the other guns that were out there from Winchester and other companies. Once smokeless powder was available, there was of course a lot of interest in loading it instead of black powder in all manner of different cartridges. And not all guns could actually handle that increased pressure. So Winchester made a point here to say, to mark right on the rifles that this was just fine with smokeless powder. However, carried over from all of the previous models, we still have the caliber designation marked on the back end of the barrel right here. This is 30-30, or as Winchester called it, the Winchester centerfire. Tang markings are the same. As with the 92, once they got substantially into the 21st century, they got rid of the 18 and started designating these just Model 94 Winchester. And our patent date is now there as well. And as with the Model 92, the serial number is down here on the bottom of the receiver. So 63,000, this is a pretty darn early rifle, and it's a really nice one too. It's got the fancy checkering, the nice wood, the pistol grip, and the takedown option. You can always tell the takedown rifles because there will be a seam here between the receiver and the barrel, as well as this lever on the end of the magazine tube, which you flip out and use as a sort of handle to unthread the magazine tube. Now to compare the action of the two guns, I have a 92 here and we have a 94 here. So on the 92, you can see the bottom of the two locking lugs at the bottom of the lever, and then the front of the receiver is rounded. On the 94, this whole section actually pivots down with the lever, so it's a flat bottom to the receiver, and you can't see anything special here because the locking lugs actually don't protrude down to the bottom of the receiver. So the substantial change that Browning made here was to replace the two independent locking lugs with a single one. It's going to cross behind the bolt to hold everything in place, and it's still cut into both sides of the receiver. So it's still a nice, strong, obviously smokeless powder capable system. And what this allows him to do is simplify a lot of the safety mechanisms in the bolt. So the 1892 and the 86 had this kind of awkward system where the front face of the bolt it protruded forward while the bolt was cycling to prevent it from firing out a battery. You can see a little bit of detail about that in the previous videos on those actions. The 94 replaced that system because instead of all of that weirdness, this locking block actually contains a transfer bar for the firing pin. All right, I'm switching to the carbine here because it's shorter and easier to get in front of the camera. But you can see the firing pin transfer right there in that locking block. And as soon as I start to lower the action, that transfer bar drops and it's no longer in a position to be hit by the hammer. Now, the hammer is actually locked. I can't pull the trigger with the lever not fully in battery. But even if that system were to fail somehow, you can't fire the gun unless it's in battery. And that's an important safety feature. And it allows Browning to get rid of this weirdness at the front of the bolt. So the 1894 bolt face looks normal, unlike the 86 and the 92. And you can see this mechanism working when I cycle the action. So this bar is connected to our locking block. When you open the action, the locking block drops down, the barrel passes above it, and then when you close the action, the bolt closes, clears space for the locking block to lift up into position to lock the gun. So it's definitely an improved system. These, to the uneducated observer, they look identical to 92s or 86s, but the mechanism is definitely improved. I should also point out that these rifles now have this little safety pin here, which blocks the trigger. In fact, you can see it pretty easily right there. So if this pin isn't depressed, the trigger simply can't be pulled. And that's an additional safety. That pin is activated by the lever. And so if you're not holding the lever closed, rifle won't fire. And those are important things. That's what comes with a fully mature design, is a good set of effective and reliable safety mechanisms. One thing that didn't change here was Nelson King's loading gate. The loading gate still works exactly the same way as it did, dating all the way back to the 1866, the original Winchester repeating rifle. So props to Nelson King. Man, he came up with a long-lived, cool idea. There are not a whole lot of other patents from 1866 that were still in production literally 150 years later in 2006. So I guess that's 140 years. But well done, Mr. King.
Such a simple design, yet so innovative.
So, yeah, you could see the differences. A lot of them. There's Abby. What's going on, lady? So, yeah, it's very interesting stuff to me. And as always, as we've talked about on every thing, every one of these episodes, Winchester offered numerous upgrades. The standard issues were carbon, rifle, and musket length barrels and round or octagon. The checkering, fancy wood checkering, all different kind of sights and stuff, and like he was talking about the takedown version. So I guess you guys be thinking about your 94s, and we'll be talking about that. We got about 1 minute, and we're going to go through the side chat. So,
Wonder what that original one sold for. You know, if it was comparable to what it would be in today's money, if it was considered a cheap rifle that everybody could have, or I got no idea what they were valued at when they first came up.
you should be able to find that out if you'll do a Google search on that while I call out the side chat.
Okay.
And what do you think we should type in? I think it's obvious.
Obvious.
1894, huh?
Kinda, yeah. So very cool, guys.
There's Bobby Barlow.
Daniel got as my judge said $19. That sounds about right. So CW Longshot got in first with 1894. He's on the panel and in the side chat. Walter got in second. He's on the panel. So is Texas 6. Bobby Barlow is out there. Paul Loud, Fuku YT, Crash, Papa's Place, New Tex I Can, Hillbilly Up is on the panel, and I know he's got a 94. Dwayne 7834, Ozzy Osborne, Kyle Lusk, Glenn Davis, James Pollard. What's going on, Mr. Pollard? Tim S. Tread, Dale Pogue, Alaska One Andy, Bama Dad. What's up, my brother? GGW Outdoors, go Dogs.
Woof, woof.
Let's see. Run 2A Matters. Fuzz T48. Hey, Fuzz. Reloading from the hot pots on the panel, too. Timothy Burkett. Tread. Mr. Pollard's got the answer to that. The angle eject came out in about 1967, Mr. Pollard says. That was due to the direct competition with Marlin, I'm pretty sure. Tread, Mr. Bob, Edward Petty, Red Raider Reloading, Abigail Finnegan, Rich B, and I think that gets us 8. Yeah. Check that out. I knew Walter could do that. It's $19 and $18.90 money is $671 in today's currency.
I would give that for one.
Yeah, I would say that. You can't buy one for that. Maybe
Rossi costs more than that right now.
Yeah, you can't touch a Winchester with that.
And those Morocco Japanese made guns are awful nice, guys. I mean, they really are. Yeah, Glenn Davis said he would too. Yeah.
And I know I've said this before, Jamie, but what famous or infamous cowboy problem solver used the 1894 because it was stealthy. It didn't leave that puff of smoke. Do you remember?
I do, but I don't know. Go ahead, tell us.
Tom Horn, who was arguably rumored to be an assassin for the cattle company.
Yeah, I would too, Tex. Yeah, we got a lot of people wanting to buy one for $671.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that must have been considered a fairly reasonable price back in the day then, at least compared to today's money.
Well, and they were still arguably making them here in the USA. So,
Sure.
which they're not anymore.
Well, I'm trying to remember, like on movies Rawhide, what it was like $20 a month or something for a cowboy.
Average cowboy pay was $30 a month.
So
That's
it took
average.
a while to save up that.
$1
Yes,
a day.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're, it's kind of like the military. I mean, all your expenses are paid. I mean, you're sleeping in a bunkhouse and they're feeding you every day, or you're on the trail and.
Old Cookie took good care of you.
Yeah.
If you were a smaller outfit, you supplied your own saddle and possibly your own horse.
Yeah, Fuzz says when he got into center fire firearms, Winchester 94s sold for $79.
I thought Fuzz was going to say when he was cowboying, the pay was only $25 a month.
Yeah, they're iconic, man. I mean, to think that over 7 million of those things were made back in the day. Between 1894 and 2006, Winchester produced 7 million.
That's
And
insane.
And I'm ashamed to say that I do not own one. How many of us on the panel have a 94?
Me.
I got one.
Well, I got more than one, but I got at least one.
I just have only one.
So half of us. No, Billy, you
October of 78, I walked into the store at 18 years old and bought a 94. First gun I ever bought.
Nice.
$99.
You still got it too, right? The
I
same
still
one?
got it. I shot it 2 weeks ago
Nice.
when I was shooting in that cowboy shooting.
About you, Hillbilly, you got one of them?
So the first one I bought, I was somewhere around like 17, 18 years old. And I think I gave $100 for it, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere in that area. And I got into my 20s. Well, actually, I was 27, I believe. And we had 2 kids by the time in diapers. Long, hard winter. I sold it to a buddy of mine for $150. And the reason I sold it instead of like one of the Marlins was because I liked the Winchester, but I couldn't, I didn't want to put a side scope on it. Since it ejected out of the top, I'm like, okay, this is one I'm going to sell. And it was a stupid decision for me, But I'm like, if I want to keep some of them, I'm going to keep ones I can put scopes on if I want to. And so, yeah, $150 is 150 beans, I guess I should say, is what that went for when I was 25, and then I was able to roughly get it back later on. But.
Yeah, my first 94 I bought for $90, 90 beans, and wore the finish off of it pretty much. And I traded it for a couple of 3 different rifles, and regretted it. Really regretted it. And later on, I got an angle eject that's probably had a magazine shot through it, and it's pretty pristine. And from what I understand, the angle eject's actually a little stouter action. I don't know that to be true, but it seems to be more metal in it.
Well, looking at the design of the receiver and everything, it can't help but be stout.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could probably stick chopsticks up through there as locking blocks, and I think it would still hold. I mean, it's built.
But I absolutely saw what that gun would do in the hands of a man that probably been shooting that gun his whole life. It looked like it'd been dragged down a mile of bad dirt road. We were on a deer drive in West Virginia, and we were pushing this big buck. And he'd been shot 2 times with a Marlin 44 Magnum and got back up and kept running in the front shoulder. And didn't understand. The guy was ready to wrap his Marlin around a tree. And it was around a strip mine. So there's
People
a lot
love them
of
hollow points, don't they?
Yeah, they do, buddy. And it was a strip mine, so there was a high wall. Well, the patriarch of the whole hunting party, he put one of his buddies who had Coke bottle glasses down on the fence line, and that deer stepped out, and he shot it and killed it with one shot, and it was 311 of my steps, and I'm 6'1", so 311 steps uphill, and with open sights. I just thought that was an incredible shot. And I asked him, I said, "Sir, if you don't mind me asking, what do you like shooting?" He said, 170 grain holler points. And, but he shot that deer right in the neck. And it, of course, just dropped it.
Absolutely. Walter, you feeling okay, bud?
No, I'm fading. I'm going to check out, guys, and go see if I can get some sleep tonight. But it was good to see everybody. So I'll say good night to all you folks over there in the side chat, and hopefully be back full steam by next week.
Walter, feel better, buddy.
Good night, Walter.
I'm
Thanks,
sorry
guys.
for your brother.
I'll probably listen in
Good
on the phone, but good night for now, guys.
Good
Good
night,
night,
brother.
Walter. I hate Walter's feeling bad.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I'm glad he's feeling better. He was rougher earlier in the week.
Yeah. So, Hillbilly, you got a 94 right now?
Well, yeah. Basically, me and my brother share it, but yeah, I'm a part owner in one right now. So yeah, that we got a long time ago. So, or was basically transferred to us, a long time ago. So, but
That's cool, man. 30-30.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was basically the third one. Or, well, the first one I had, I ended up owning it twice. And so, I made the same dumb mistake a second time and got rid of it. So, I mean, I don't know. I just thought, man, I'd like to put a scope on this thing. And I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking, I guess.
So, we got Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog out there in the side chat now.
Hey, buddy. I bet
What's up, Chuck?
down there in Louisiana.
Yeah.
I bet he's sweating, eating hot sauce, and swatting skeeters.
Skeeter's big as I don't know, basketballs down there, man.
They'll stand flat-footed and rape a chicken.
That's messed up.
I've seen them do it.
I like it.
It's bad when you can hear a mosquito coming from a ways off.
It sounds like a Huey.
Yeah.
No, Huey ain't that loud.
Yeah.
Not until it's there.
Oh, he's on vacation in Florida. Woo! So,
Ooh,
Chuck,
Florida.
when you get home, buddy, I need an etouffee sauce recipe.
Yeah, he decided to get out of where all the skeeters were and go down to where the cockroaches are.
And the same.
You can hear them walking across the tile floor from
Those aren't cockroaches. Them's palmetto bugs.
and ants.
Cockroach.
My goodness, I've never seen somebody
Cockroach.
dang ants in my life.
Cockroaches run from palmetto bugs.
Yeah, I know, Fuzzy. Peep sights are pretty cool. So, yeah,
It's okay, baby girl. It's okay.
that's some.
It's okay. It's okay. Lay down. Somebody's got fireworks.
Oh boy.
Oh,
I thought maybe she's scared of mosquitoes and ants.
Nope, she don't mind them. She bites them. But fireworks, you don't like fireworks.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Gunner is a canine bug zapper.
Yeah,
He sits here and chases flies and eats mosquitoes, and every now and then gets a hold of a jalapeno sky nacho, which would be a wasp.
Yeah, I was going to say, when
She
they get
came
over
in-
a bee or a wasp, oh, man.
She came in yesterday, with a big old lump on her nose. I know what happened. We got a couple of boring bees, and she's always snapping at them.
I got a picture. Of Baloo. She got a hold of a wasp back here on the back porch, and poor girl, her snout was about as big around as a football. I'm like, good God, am I going to have to take you to the vet?
Yeah, she didn't swell up that bad. It was just a lump about the size of a nickel, maybe a quarter inch high.
Yeah,
I
but
knew
it
her
makes,
whole
snout was-
it makes you wonder when the copperheads are out. What'd you get bit by?
It's amazing that you mentioned the rattle-headed copper moccasins, because they're clearing this land next to me, and one of the guys brought his dog for some strange reason, and was complaining to me because it got bit by a copperhead. I'm like, it's not my dog. It's not my snake. It's not my property.
I didn't put them there.
Yeah, I don't know what your beef is with me, but sorry. Hope the dog's all right. Oh, the dog's fine, but I just thought you need to know. I'm like, that's why I have shotguns.
Yeah.
I don't like them. I know they're there. They stay over there. I stay over here.
CW, you talking about those boring bees? I used to keep a Colt Peacemaker 22 filled up with rat shot, and I'd shoot those bees out of the air. Yep. And my son would go to school and say, "My dad is the best shot that ever lived." And they were like, "Why do you think so?" "My dad's a good shot. Can he shoot bees out of the air?" I didn't let him. Didn't let him in on the secret till he was like 25. You know,
of course not.
Well, I learned something about that. Like I said, snake shot, rat shot, whatever you want to call it. Just recently, you can now, or at least I assume it's a new thing, but you can get that in a 5.56 now, and they call it a drone something. So yeah, it's got like, I think 8 or 10 pellets in it and a 5.56 cartridge.
I just sooner use a 12
and it does cycle.
Yep.
There's certain companies out there that are actually selling products to reload that stuff.
Oh yeah,
special dyes that won't crush the caps and all that stuff.
My cousin finally got a 6 crimp die that will crimp old school rat shot. But before that, he was loading up 38 special, and what he would do is he'd put a powder charge in, a cardboard wad, the shot, and then he would take a oh Lord, it's slipping me. What's the copper cap that you use on the bottom of a lead
gas
bullet?
check.
Gas check. You take a gas check, sit on top of that, and crimp it. And you talking about mean. Heat 4s and 5s. You don't want to.
I made quite a few of them.
You don't want to burn a dog up with it because that dog will end up laying down. But for a snake, they don't wiggle when you shoot them.
Give me a minute. My wife just got home. I'll be right back.
All righty.
Yeah, I made many of those. Many of those, and then I learned that you can you lose shot capacity a little bit, but if you take a round ball and seat that instead of a gas check, you get a projectile that goes to the point of aim, and then it gets saturated around it with a bird shot.
Yeah,
and that makes for a really good, still close range, but something you can aim and have a projectile to the point of aim and still saturate the ground with bird shot. I got a couple videos on them in 32. 327 makes a nice one because it's a long case.
I bet.
Makes a nice shot. Is a number 12 shot. It saturates a tin can.
That's an interesting thing Fuzz puts up there. Fuzz, are you BSing us? Or are you
Possums are big tick eaters too.
Yeah, they eat like 15,000 ticks a year.
Yep. They're you shouldn't bother them. They don't bother you anyway. They don't do much.
The only thing they eat around here is our cat food and our eggs. So
yeah, they'll eat eggs. They get a taste for them. They'll eat eggs, but you can do other things than kill them. They do a lot of good.
Yeah,
they're just ugly.
They're just ugly. Yeah.
Bless their heart, they are. God was having a pretty good day when he was making up their DNA, and then when he got to the way they were supposed to look, he said, "I got to move on to elephants," and he just whatever, you know. But possum is
like the platypus and a couple of other ones. He had a lot of extra parts left over, and
yeah.
That's what he came up with.
Yeah. I know what you're saying there, Fuzz, but there ain't nobody comes on here and makes serum from the ones that's around here. And to be honest with you, a lot of them don't live to the winter. Yeah, I mean they don't like they'll freeze to death around here.
We got big possums in the south.
Oh, we had a big one, big giant one. It must have gone 25 pounds. It was
Half of him looks like a head.
he would not fit in a 5-gallon pail.
Wow.
Would not fit. He was
That's
big.
That's a nice one.
He was big. He had a head like a softball.
Oh yeah, so they're
He was
around
big.
here like you'll scoop them up with a nice good sized flat shovel, and they'll just roll off of it. They're just way too big,
Well, I had a boy that used to work for me that set out rabbit traps all around campus, rabbit boxes, and he was fussing that the possums kept getting into him. I said, well, I mean, you're putting in apples. Possums love apples. Everything, all God's children love apples, And I'm gonna catch him in a live trap. I want you to shoot him. I went, okay. And he called him, and he called me on the radio. Hey, come up here to shoot this possum. I walked up there, silenced Walther P-22, stuck it in the cage right up next to his head, pow. And blood starts to run out both sides of his ears, and he's sitting there hissing at us. Don said, you didn't kill him. I said, oh, he's dead. He just don't know it yet.
Right.
5 minutes later, he finally passed away.
That big one was in my hen laying box, which is it had to be 16 inches tall with a slant roof on it.
Yeah.
And that roof was up 3-4 inches. He was sitting in the corner with an egg in each hand. The lid was up on his head. I lifted the lid and he looked at me. I put the lid back down.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't believe how big he was. He filled the whole laying corner, and the actual it's a 1/2-inch piece of plywood with tin on it. I mean, it checks in, and it was up. He was happy as he had food and he was enjoying himself.
Yeah, that's what's real scary if you got in the wintertime when it gets dark early, you got to grab some eggs after work and you got your little flashlight and you shine in that box and dang possum in there eating
Grinning
eggs.
at you. That's what we call them, grinners. They look like they're grinning all the time.
I guess I made my hen coop pretty possum proof, but I do get black snakes in there every once in a while, and I've got one big one around here. It's 7 feet.
Oh,
his
yeah.
His name's Leon, and I'll catch him behind the head and just pick him up and go, Leon, what have I told you about getting in this box? And chuck him somewhere, and he'll come back about a year later or something, But
when they get that big, they do about what they want,
Yeah.
Well, I will say this, and I don't know this to be 100% true, so don't come after me if you believe something different. But I did ask our vet, which he worked he's a farm vet, cows, horses, all that. Always heard, possums can't, get rabies or whatever. And I remember Googling after what he told me. He said rabies don't infect them because their body temperature is so low. They can carry rabies, but they won't get rabied because
it won't manifest itself.
Yeah, their body temperature is too low. So yes, because he said when you hear people say, "Oh well, possums, you can't get rabies from possum," he goes, "That is not true. You can. Another animal can from the saliva or whatever if that possum is infected. It's just that possum won't have the signs of rabies." So I don't know if that's 1,000% true, but that's what he had told me.
Well, I've seen some that I thought was infected with rabies, foaming at the mouth and stumbling all over the place. Maybe it was something else, or maybe they got in the neighbor's mash or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. It's supposedly it's because of the temperature of the body. And
It probably ate some Jiffy Mix somebody threw out.
So maybe some
Yeah.
baking soda.
Well, that'll make me foam at the mouth.
Yeah, it would me
That's
too.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, guys.
The main thing that gets rabies around here, as I'm sure everybody would attest to, 6 has probably got a little different take on this, but mostly everything is foxes, coons, and the occasional skunk. And I always used to hear Texas cowboys were mortified of skunks sleeping out on the prairie because a rabid skunk come by and bite everybody laying there in the camp, you know. And they ain't no cure for that stuff.
No.
It's about the same here.
Well,
Bats too. So
Yeah.
and what people don't understand is, like a coon or whatever, there's 3 different stages of rabies. Some of them think they're friendly because they're dazed. They're not running from you or whatever. And people literally go up and pet them or whatever. And that is one of the signs of rabies. And of course, you have your other sign of rabies that most people think, is it's aggressive, maybe foaming at the mouth. So that's a sign. And then the other sign is what they call the drunk stage. So it might be walking and wobbling and falling down, and people go, oh, there's something wrong with it, go pick it up or whatever. So anytime you see a wild animal doing any of those 3 things, just stay clear, because all 3 of those can be signs of rabies. It's serious. Like you said, something real serious when you got animals and all that stuff and wildlife around you. It's something you think about.
An ounce and a quarter of number 6s will generally eliminate that problem, but you want to be responsible and bury the critter, not touch it, but bury it. That way other wildlife doesn't eat on it,
Well, the only way that they can find out if it has rabies is they have to decapitate the animal and open its brain out, because it affects the brain.
But
And
see,
so-
by the time I'm done with them, that's already happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yep.
Whether it's rabies or distemper, something ain't right with you, I'm going to put you out of your misery.
So, Mr. Darth Vader, are you about ready?
That's Dark Vader.
Okay, Darth Vader. I'm sorry.
Did you say dork?
I said dirt.
Dark. Okay.
Mr. Dirt Vader.
Okay.
All right. I'm not a Star Wars guy. I don't care.
I am and I do.
It's time for What's Hot Pod Got. What you got for us tonight, Mr. Darth Vader?
Dirt Diggler.
I just noticed, though, that picture of me there at the beginning of it, you can see the American flag reflection in my one lens.
Yeah.
I just now noticed that. I thought that was pretty dang cool. Well, in light of tonight's subject matter, I brought out. Is it going to focus? Oh, almost. This is a 30 WCF. Can't see it.
Come on, baby.
There we go.
There you go.
Momentary.
Super speed, too. Woo!
Super Speed 30 WCF cartridge. I found that at work. This come from a bag from Colorado. We get all this real neat stuff from Colorado. Well, I picked this out because of tonight's subject matter, and I thought I'd read you a little bit about it. So if you hold on with me here, The 3030 Winchester, officially named the 30 Winchester Centerfire or 30 WCF cartridge, was the first marketed for the Winchester Model 1894 lever action rifle in 1895. The 3030, pronounced 3030, as is most commonly known, along with the 2535 Winchester, was offered that year as the United States' first small bore sporting rifle cartridge designed for smokeless powder.
Wait,
Oops.
What, you kick him off, Jamie?
Nope.
Oh, man.
that
I
was
would
the sound.
never do.
That was the sound of a rival lightsaber.
Dang it. Come on back, Gene. Hurry, man.
He's probably still talking.
Use the force.
Yeah, he might not even know he's kicked off yet. Well, he had to see the circle go.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be back on here.
There
There
he
he
comes.
So you were
Last
saying-
thing we heard was small bore designed for smokeless powder.
Yep. Since its introduction, it has been utilized alongside the development of flatter shooting cartridges, most prominently those derived from designs subsidized by the interest in military expenditures. This was designed in 1895 by Winchester and is produced 1895 to present day. Its parent case was the 3855 Winchester. It does have several variants, such as the 730 Waters, 2535 Winchester, 219 Zipper, 3030 Ackley Improved, and a 32 Winchester Special. Bullet mass goes from 110, 130, 150, 160 to 170 respectively, and 110 starts at 2684, 130 2496, 150 2390, 160 2330, and 170 at 2227. That is a scooting little bullet. The 3030 is by far the most common cartridge shot from lever action rifles. The 3030 is substantially more powerful than the Magnum handgun cartridge, 357, 41, 44, etc., also often paired with lever actions that produce the energy with about 14% less recoil than the 44 Magnum. While its old rival 35 Remington, love that Remington, produces more muzzle energy and recoil, the 3030 will often retain more terminal energy. The 3030 is not commonly used for extreme long-range shooting across wide open spaces, but modern innovations in ballistic tip bullets for lever guns have moved the long-range capabilities of 3030 somewhat closer to parity with higher velocity cartridges. That's what Hot Pot's got.
Very good, very good. And I'll say this. Hand loads, cast bullets, powder coated, gas check. You can do substantially better with a 170 grain bullet than 2,230 feet per second.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. That's production based ammo. The ammunition that I'm reading from the ballistics. So us as reloaders, we all always know you can always push it.
Yeah. And this is interesting. We all think of lever actions, and the reason they're so popular is hunting guns is they're lighter, they're easier to maneuver in the woods, especially from tight cover and stuff like that. But I've often wondered what you could really do with a 3030 cartridge in a bolt gun or a single shot rifle. What any other platform beside the lever action. Don't get me wrong, I love my lever actions, they're always first in my heart. But that cartridge has been in those lever guns for so long. You got to remember, they got barrel bands around there. There's no such thing as a free-floated barrel in a lever-action gun. So I've often wondered what you could really do with one. I'm pretty sure you could get some pretty decent groups out to 250, 300 yards with a different platform and the 30-30 cartridge with the 30-30 cartridge.
You don't think you could go out a little further than that with a good platform?
You could probably hit 4 easy.
Yeah, I was trying to be conservative. I know it carries its energy further than that 35 Remington does, but that's not what the 35 is designed to do. That 35 is designed to bust through branches, leaves, shrubs,
Bone.
all kind of scuttlebutt, and still knock a deer on its backside. And it does that very well.
My grandfather called it a brush gun.
Yeah, it was one of the first. Yeah, Remington did make some pump guns, James.
Yeah, Savage too. Savage made a pump 170. Yep, 30-30.
Curtis says that Remington
788. Yeah, I have a Savage 340.
788, Savage 340. Yep.
Yep, along with the H&Rs, and they were 30-30 as well.
Ruger number one's got a great reputation.
Yeah, nice rifle.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, you can get 7 in there, man.
Sure.
30-30 and a lever gun. Yeah, Savage 30-30.
One of the stages we shot 2 weeks ago required 7 rounds, and that's 7 in the magazine. You know, you can't put one in the chamber, but if you was hunting, you could. So you could actually have 8 rounds.
Very nice.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot with my 340 for different stuff. I only loaded up a couple of different cast bullet loads with 170 that I sent you, Jamie, and it shot like 2 inches at 100 yards, and I was happy. I put it on the shelf. You know, I didn't do much with it, but it's older gun. You know, it's an original 340. They made a few variants through the years, and mine's an original one, so it's pretty old. I gotta have a little respect for it.
Let's back up here for a minute. Williams Curtis's comment. The new Henry single shot. How accurate are those?
The new Henrys,
Yeah,
they've been pretty good. I don't know that they're, you know, super laser beam, but certainly hunting accurate.
They're nice looking.
Very nice looking.
oh, Curtis has got like quite a few 30-30s in different platforms.
Yeah, that 788 Remington is that and the 44 Magnum is a very coveted collector piece.
Good night, Chuck. Have a good vacation, brother.
Enjoy those umbrella drinks, buddy. One thing that video played earlier, Jamie, I'm glad that old boy brought it up about the King's Gate. You know, to me, like, that's really impressive. It's like, I don't need to make the best lever action rifles in the world. I just need to make something that everybody wants to put on one, you know, and
Right.
still alive and kicking today, you know. And
Okay, Ozzy's got a great question that we need to address. Mr. Pollard said his first deer rifle was a Model 340 and 3030. I hope he still got it, Mr. Pollard.
I should do a complete video on it. I only got a video on it with me and Ricky one day, and I'm just shooting it, but it's not special anything about it. You know, I had one on the old channel, but that's gone. So I should do another video. It's a nice rifle for what it is. You know, it's walnut. It's not fancy. You know, it's not nicely blued. I've got a factory peep sight, which is pretty rare on it. It's a very different than any peep sight you've ever seen. It's a side mount, but it's got like a swinging lever, kind of like the Savage 22s were, but better. And it's not made by Savage; it's made by another company, but came on the Savage. It's pretty cool.
So how does a 3030 compare to a 308? Pretty much it doesn't.
Other than bullet diameter and bullet weights, that's about all it has in common.
That's about it.
And not really bullet weight.
Sure, you can do 150s and 170s are, specific for the 308, but 150s are the same for 308 and 3030.
Yeah, but they're different bullet shapes. Unless you're getting one of those, what are they calling them? FTX, Hornady bullets, you're going to have a flat point on that 3030 bullet. And yeah. So you're looking at 3030 with 150 grain bullet is going to run about what? What'd you say, Gene? 2,300 feet per second?
Yeah, thereabouts.
And a 308 with 150 grain bullet's going to be around 2,600 feet per second. 26.
More magic fairy dust.
Yeah, higher case capacity, more accurate rifles to bolt gun compared to a lever gun. So yeah.
What's the most common powder used in it?
In 3030?
Yeah.
3031, 322, I think maybe 4198, 5744. These are just off the top of my head.
And that's all I've ever used is 3031. Other than Trail Boss. I'm thinking about loading my next set of bullets for the Indian fighter category with black powder.
That'd be cool. You got to know, though, you ain't going to get that much velocity.
I don't want no velocity. That's why I had it loaded with Trail Boss to begin with.
How far are you shooting?
About 75.
Hey, I'd do that. Those folding scope bases are so cool, man.
Yeah, Redfield made a flip-up peep on the back of their bases. It was pretty neat. It was pretty much emergency use. You know, if your scope broke, you just pull the scope off and you had something. But it was a peep sight, and it was adjustable, and it worked.
Interesting stuff here. 6-pack project. Welcome to the channel. I can't recall seeing you out there before, but that don't mean I haven't. It just means I'm old and I got a bad memory. But welcome to the stream, my buddy, and hope get to know you better.
2015 is a nice powder. It works for lots of stuff. I use it in the maximum, believe it or not. It works pretty good with heavy bullets in the maximum.
That's one I'll have to check out.
Is that an accurate powder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mr. Pollard brings up a point that I have often thought about. You can run a pointed bullet in a 30-30 in a lever gun if you only load 2 rounds in it.
Mhm.
That's a fact. I've thought about that many times before. And Curtis says that his Savage 340 doesn't feed those pointed bullets all that well. There's Walter Davis. Y'all say hey to Walter.
Hey, Walter.
Hey, Walter.
Good to see you out there, buddy. But yeah, I've often thought about getting me some like Sierra Match Kings in about 150 grain 30 caliber. Just see how tight a group I can load some 30-30 stuff and just single load them like you do. Put two in there and load one, and yeah.
Yeah, like with my 340, it's got a appropriate length box magazine, so you couldn't load it too long. But you probably could. I don't know what the throat is. I never really looked or don't remember if I did. But single loading, you might be able to load it out a little bit.
Yeah, you just need to. Well, drive careful, Walter. Walter Davis says he's driving and listening. I think yeah. Curtis says the accuracy is probably the same or worse. Trajectory is what improves.
Yeah, and it's a 250, 300 yard pushing it cartridge, so you don't really see ballistic advantage on those bullets until you're out past 200 or 300 yards. So
Right.
maybe it's moot.
And 30-30 ain't gonna have enough horsepower to move it.
Right. You could pop steel or paper, but you're not going to have any power for any kind of game.
Good night, New Texarkana. Hope y'all have a great weekend, brother. Yeah, but that's the kind of stuff that goes through my mind while I'm sitting there at work, you know. I really like the cartridge. I like the 35 Remington better. And that's one that I think should be subjected to some different platforms as well. What do y'all think about that?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. They need to bring that cartridge back.
Big time. It's very popular here in the Southeast.
I got bounced. What are you talking? What'd you say?
35 Remington.
Oh yeah, I love the 35 Remington.
I think it does what it was designed to do very well.
You boys come up here in October and we ride around the mountains and look at bear hunters. Uh, they it's 35 or 30-30. Occasionally you'll see a dude with something weird. I know a guy that had a 243 Woodsmaster and another dude that shot a Marlin 444, and he was a kid. And they made fun of him. They said, "Oh, you're scared of them bears. The 30-30, 35 will kill them just as dead. You learn how. You learn how to shoot."
I'm pretty impressed with the ballistics of this 400. Out of the whatever barrel length, and I haven't measured it. I just honestly don't know because Savage says it's 18 and it's 20. So I got to measure it. It looks 20, but I didn't measure it. But today with the Athlon, it was averaging over 2,300 with a factory 215. And the factory, the factory 35 Rem 200 says it's like 22, but it's really 21 and change. I did it on a chronograph over 23.
Now, is
with
that
a larger diameter bullet?
Is that 400? I know the 350 Legend is pretty much
a big 9mm,
a 223 brace with the brass extruded off of that. Is the 400 still the same thing?
The 400, I thought at first that it was the 6.8
SBC, yeah.
You know, a little bit longer and blown out. And then you can say that it might be what's that 22 that kind of failed, the Hot 22, the first one there, the 224 Valkyrie case. Yeah. Which is the same case, I believe, right? They're the same.
It is.
But I blew a couple of them out, and they're different. So I'm not sure exactly what it is, or it may be proprietary. I think it might have started with those cases and then became something else. But it's got pretty good ballistics, and again, remember, it's loaded for an AR, so it's kept low pressure. In this bolt action or any bolt action, and a good hand loader, I bet you could get another 150, 200 feet per second out of it and still be perfectly safe. And that's some stomping loads if you think about it. 200 grain bullet at 25. Now you're into 358 Winchester stuff. Low end of 35 Whelen, and you know that's stomping.
It is.
I know if you watch Tom Turkey over there on his channel, he does a lot of 400 stuff, and he did a hand load. I was just looking because I did one today with the 180 Gold Dot pistol bullet, and out of his barrel, which I think is 18, he chronographed 2,700, which was almost 3,000 foot-pounds of energy. Now, of course, that bullet pretty much grenaded inside 6 inches in the gel, but it's made for 1,000 feet per second. He pushed it at almost 3 times that.
Right.
But if you use that for whatever's in your garbage can or defensively, that would be devastating.
Be pretty nasty.
It would be a baseball-sized hole.
Oh yeah.
It would be devastating. That deep too.
Timothy, I've used Tornado Lever Revolution powder.
I've used it in 7mm. I've never used it in 30-30.
It's not the same powder that's in the loaded ammo. I will tell you that.
It's very close to super performance.
Yeah.
Very close, almost interchangeable.
I loaded it in 35 Rem with those FTX bullets and did really well. Got good accuracy.
I did the same. Not so much. My hand loads with in 35, the Lee 200 grain cast bullet, and did better with my cast lead bullet and Western Ramshot tack and H335 performed better out of my rifle than the FTX and the Lever Revolution combination.
I swear that H335 will load just about anything.
That is,
Yeah, it really will.
it's got
I mean,
it's
I
got
like-
horsepower and it's accurate out of a lot of stuff.
everybody told me their loads for a 222 when I first got mine, and I quickly found it didn't like that and switched to 335 and started acting like a little bencherous rifle. So I stuck with that.
I just got some, my buddy who passed away last year. We helped sell off all of his stuff. And of course, nobody wanted the gunpowder. So I got the gunpowder, and he had a couple of jugs of 844, which is basically military surplus H335.
Yeah.
We use that data. I find that my batch of it is a little bit hotter than 335. So a couple of loads that I had, starting loads, just a little above starting loads, were right at max. So I got to back it off a little when I use it, but it's been shooting good. It's been shooting really good.
Isn't 400 Legend rimmed?
No,
No.
no.
Rebated.
I was sorting some of that brass today.
Hold on to it,
Legend.
Gene. Hold on to it. Unless somebody wants it. You know, you don't have a paker for it. Hold on to it.
Yeah, if you want it, I'll put it aside. No problem. I think I got a few pieces here at the house too.
Yeah,
I
those
believe I do. I believe I do already.
are 6-pack project. That's a good point. It was originally intended for a semi-automatic.
Yep.
And we kept it alive in
Model
the
8. Model 8 Remington.
The Remington Model 8, and that's a great host for it.
Yeah, I think the 360 Buckhammer, if it takes hold and takes off, it'll be the death toll for the 35 Rem.
Do
It's
what now?
unfortunate. The 360 Buckhammer. It's I mean, I hate to see any classic old caliber. I don't think it'll disappear, but it'll be less and less. I mean, what's it chambered in today? You know, it's just a sprinkling of cartridges, firearms that are chambered for it.
Yeah.
And the 350 Buckhammer, 360 Buckhammer rather, is doing the same thing ballistically. It's actually doing a little better. So we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, it will.
32 is another good one, and it's pretty much defunct as well. You know, they haven't made any guns in that caliber in a long time.
I still have a box of old Winchester yellow and white and 32 Winchester Special.
Yep.
Which was a 30-30 variant.
Pollard said his 30-30 likes H335. One of the articles I was reading for the Marlin project coming up next week actually has cast loads and bullets and actual recipes. I don't know if we should get into actual, but that guy really likes H330, 322 or 332, whichever.
332.
Yeah.
It's another good powder. I love that powder for 223, but it's good in 444. It's well known for the 444 as well.
Bold Action 223 I got loves that 335.
Yeah, it's a good powder for a lot.
I tested 8 or 9 different powders in it, and that was the most accurate using the 62 grain.
I'm sure
my 223s.
I'm sure Mike knows, but H335 is a dandy in the 300 blackout for
heavies.
For heavy bullets.
I ended up with an 8-pound jug of 1680, so I generally regulate super heavy for that because you can't. And 335 is the same way. You can't screw it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you compress the snot out of it, and it just loves it.
I got an 8-pound jug of 844 and an 8-pound jug of 680.
Yeah.
All right, we're late for the verse of the week. Are y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Let's do it.
Okay, let's see if we can get this over here. So our verse of the night is Joshua 1, verses 6 through 9. And there's some pretty long verses in here. So not much to add to the actual scripture, though. So we should be done fairly quickly. In Joshua chapter 1, Moses has died. God prepares Joshua to lead the Israelites into the promised land. And this will mean certain war. And I want to stop right here and say that God laid this verse on my heart earlier in the week, way before I knew what was going on last night and today. So I thank the Lord preparing my heart and mind for what was going on. And I know nobody in Israel is going to be watching this, but anyway. So the men of Israel would get their hands dirty and bloody, and some of them would die. God commands Joshua to be strong and of good courage. Let's take a look. I want y'all to remember this phrase here because it's going to come up a lot. Joshua 1:6. Be strong and of good courage. For to this people you shall divide as an inheritance the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. Verse 7. Only be strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may prosper wherever you go. Verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate in it day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written in it. For then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. Verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid, nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So God, verse 6 there, God would use Joshua to divide the promised land among the 12 tribes of Israel. And in verse 7, he says, be strong and very courageous. Again, observe the law, do not drift side to side, and God promises prosperity. I took some programming classes when I was in college for computers. It's called an if-then statement. If you observe the law, do not let it depart from your mouth. Do not waver left or right. You do what I'm telling you to do, and you're going to be prosperous and successful. Verse 8, again, God repeats and intensifies. The book of the law shall not depart from your mouth. Meditate. In Psalms, how many of y'all have read the Psalms and read the word at the end of a statement, Shelah, and wondered about what does Shelah mean? Shelah. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right. But I asked a pastor that one time, a pretty well-known guy, and he says it's in Southern, it's like to ponder, to consider, to think about. But yeah, when we read that, do not let this book of the law, do not let it depart from your mouth. God's telling them, speak my truth. the results, you'll be prosperous and have good success. And that is right there at the end of the verse. And verse 9 says, have I not commanded you? I've commanded you. Don't be afraid. Don't be dismayed, because he's going to divide the promised land and distribute it among the 12 tribes of Israel. He's going to be in a war. He's going to have to kill people, and he's going to see some of his people die. And that's the exact situation that Israel finds himself in today, fighting for their literal survival. Let's look at David Guzik here, see what he's got to say here. Be strong and of good courage. Joshua is called to be bold in God. The emphasis given to this command, because it's repeated 4 times in chapter 1 in verse 6, 7, 9, and 18, suggests that Joshua needed this strong encouragement. He would need God's strength and courage to conquer Canaan and divide the land as an inheritance to Israel. The sense is that Joshua would find his strength and courage in Yahweh, not in himself. As Paul would explain later in Ephesians 6:10, Joshua was to be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. This is a pattern for believers to find their strength in God and not in self. Guzik quotes a commentator named Boyce there, and I'll read to you what he says. He says, Joshua seems to have been afraid of this responsibility. I say this because the most repeated words in the chapter are those commanding him not to be afraid. God tells Joshua to be strong and courageous 3 times in verse 6, 7, and 9. Then adds, do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged in verse 9. At the end of the chapter, the people tell Joshua the same thing. Only be strong and courageous, Joshua 1:18. In spite of what must, therefore, have been a very acute sense of inadequacy, Joshua did indeed take charge. From the very first, he showed that he was the Lord's man for this hour. MacArthur's Study Bible has a note there. Let me see if I can find this note. Verse 8 there, he says, this book of the law is a reference to Scripture, specifically Genesis through Deuteronomy, called the Pentateuch, and that was written by Moses. So meditate in it. That's to read with thoughtfulness, to linger over God's word. The parts of Scripture that they possessed have always been the main spiritual food of those who served him. Job 23:12, the Psalmist, Psalm 1:1-3, Jeremiah 15:16, and Jesus in John 4:34. Prosperous and good success there. The promise of God's blessing on the great responsibility God has given Joshua. The principle here is central to all spiritual effort and enterprise, namely the deep understanding and application of Scripture at all times. If we don't understand what the Lord's telling us, then we're fighting with one arm tied behind our back. In verse 9, MacArthur says, the Lord is with you. This assurance has always been the staying sufficiency for his servants, such as Abraham in Genesis 15:1, Moses and his people in Exodus 14:13, for Isaiah in Isaiah 41:10, and Jeremiah in Jeremiah 1:7 and 8, and Christians throughout the centuries in Matthew 28:20 and in Hebrews 13:5. So that's what I got for you for the verse of the week tonight. Questions or comments? Selah. That's right. My dad got it. Selah.
I could understand why Joshua felt a little bit inadequate. That's a big responsibility.
Yeah, no doubt. And for some reason, while you're reading all this, I keep thinking back and thinking about Jehoshaphat also.
Oh, Brooke, I'm so sorry.
Oh man.
No. So sorry to hear that, Brett. Doggone it.
We were just talking about that today at the range. How bad the how bad the bears are with pets and that. You don't hear much about it on the news, but yeah, it happens. Yeah. Sorry to hear that. That's awful.
You know, Bama Dad, I'm in my Sunday school class. I'm teaching end times prophecies, and the more I study it, man, I'm telling you, the closer it's got to be. It's just got to be. That's right, Timothy Burkett. Good stuff. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Walter. There's an invite from Tread. Let's see as many of y'all as we can get up there at Bell, North Carolina at the end of the month. Mark Thomas, how in the world are you doing, buddy? What have you been doing this week?
Well, sorry I was late, but I was spending some time with my son. Got him to that jiu-jitsu class again. He's been doing that for almost a month now and loving it. We had a real nice dinner and got here when I could. I've spent this first week of summer vacation just kind of hanging right here close at the house. My mother-in-law shouldn't be alone, and although she's moved closer to my brother-in-law down towards Shippensburg, they went on vacation this week. So she spent the week with us, and I've been hanging out with her, just making sure she's okay. So she she deserves it. She was a nurse for 40-some years, half of that in the emergency room and the other half in hospice care. So
just making sure
life with that,
taking care of people. Wow.
Yep. They're angels.
Been a relaxing week, just hanging out, and I got a bunch of work ahead of me. Got work to do on the Jeep this week, and we're getting ready for that airsoft event that Moondog puts on end of the month. So we're going to be plenty busy. Good thing that I got to recharge my batteries this week.
You're going to be a commando or something, ain't you, in that airsoft deal?
Yeah, commanding officer.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be leading our team. Yeah, leading our team, leading our faction.
Awesome.
I got a bunch of people with me, so it's not like I got to do anything by myself, and it's all for fun. I mean, we're not that competitive. It's a great fundraiser. What's that?
Take you a stick horse and ride it in the battle.
Not good. But I was glad I was able to make it. Glad I got to see everybody for a little bit this week. I missed the whole thing last week, so just glad I was able to be here.
It is Father's Day weekend. That had skipped my mind with everything that's going on in the world. You got Israel and Iran pretty much in an undeclared war. I think, and you've got these protests going on here in the States, and it's crazy times, man. So
I don't understand that either. You go to a protest. They're supposed to be protesting ICE, and they're carrying pro-Palestinian flags and gay pride flags, and I'm like, what are you people protesting? Pick
Flags too.
pick a thing, you know. Pick a thing.
Well, one thing we did learn is California does not like water or ice.
It's the truth, ain't it?
They got a bunch of those protests planned for around here tomorrow.
Yeah, here too. 6. I doubt they come to anything. I mean,
It won't be like that.
yeah.
It won't be like California, I know that.
No.
Yeah.
Protest is fine. You know, that's what we're all entitled to, but that's not protest what they're doing.
Yeah, they went to pull down the I don't know which protest that was. Seems like we live with them in waves. They went to pull down the Confederate Memorial in Morganton up here, and they looked around, and I started to paint graffiti on it, and some dude walked up and said, "You better look on the rooftops, buddy." And they were civilians; they weren't cops, but they quelled that pretty quick.
Rooftop Koreans, baby.
There you go.
Well, what gets me is, tomorrow's our military's birthday, and they've brought this out to say, instead of celebrating, what's gave everybody in this country freedom, and because it's not free, instead of celebrating that, now they're coming out with this protest, no kings, and stuff. I mean, it's a total bullshit.
And we got a sighting.
Yes, sir.
count us down there, Hillbilly.
All right. We got 3, 2, 1, everybody.
Hey. West Coast weirdo.
Mario.
On a lighter note, everybody, my wife's home from the beach, and I've got me a Gulf of America shirt.
Woo! Heck yeah, man.
America.
My wife told me earlier this week, she says, I want to go to the Gulf of America, Jamie. I'm like, it's like he said that, and the next day the maps were changed.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm like, dang, it's great to be king of the world, ain't it?
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, apparently more people than just him wanted to call it the Gulf of America. That's for sure.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently,
Yeah,
Rand McNally wanted to too, right?
What's Mexico ever done for it? Pollute it, you know?
Well, we
in
ain't
it.
much better.
No, we're not.
But we
We're
got
not.
10 minutes to get off the air. Is Chad going on tonight?
Yeah.
All right, so we got to get cleared out of here for Chad. Who wants to go first? Mark, you want to go first?
I can. Just going to say thanks for having me. Been a long week. Looking forward to it. Great to see everybody. Not sure kind of what reloading projects or shooting projects I have coming up. Just a couple things to work on. No leather work's going to get sent out right away, but I'm finally going to get some time to do it. So just great to see everybody. Great to be hanging out with everybody and seeing everybody over there in the side chat. So hope everybody is having a good weekend.
Very good. Okay, Gene.
Well, let's see. Thanks for having me on again tonight. I always enjoy the conversation and the brotherhood, sisterhood out there. Let's see. This weekend, I got to do some sit down work tomorrow morning, some tattooing, and then the rest of the weekend I'm gonna spend on Darth Vader.
Oh,
I'm gonna go out and enjoy the dark side of life.
Very good. Very good.
That's all I have planned.
Well, thanks for being here, brother. Are you going to say it?
Well, it's only once around the ride. So you always are got to remember to keep blowing that smoke.
Blow the smoke, baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Kyle, thanks for being here, brother. What you got coming up this week?
Actually, I'm gonna play with these Argentine bullets that I just cast up, and I can probably make a video about that, powder coating them and sizing them, and of course I can't show loading them, which is odd, but whatever. Their rules, not mine. But
How'd you get ice? How'd you get ice to get them to drop them off at your house?
What?
The refugee bullets, Argentina's.
Well, I mean, they started clearing the land, then they just showed up. I don't know.
You got to be quick, Kyle. You got to be quick.
I'm glad you got it, Brian.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to go there, but that's where I went. But
Surprised you don't have any to show us.
Hang on, please hold.
There you go. Look at that. That's a good looker.
That is a beautiful 184.9 grain.
Wow.
All right.
That's a
Sorry, my hair
booty.
messed up. Oh, Gulf of America. Oh, cut me off. He cut me off. Anyway, that's what I got coming up.
All right. You show your shirt off. Woo!
Nice. Look at that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Love it.
Angel. Lift your beard up.
Yeah. That's
Get
my
it,
wonderful wife. Pick
Get
your
it,
beard up.
girl. All right. Thanks for being here. Rebel, what you got coming up this week?
Oh, let's see. Work is always killing groundhogs. Is always between rain showers. By the way, guys, if it rains a little bit, that's the perfect time to get out. As soon as it stops, they get out, get to messing around eating soybeans. Pop, 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 pop. Went and visited my granddaughter this past Sunday. Her vocabulary has blown sky high. I mean, she'll be 2 in September, and she looked at me and climbed in her little toy car and said, "Back, back, Papa." I went, "Back, back." And I looked at her mama, and Sadie said, "That means right back." I said, "Okay, I'll see you in a minute." And she goes zizzing off and comes zizzing back. "I'm back, Papa." I brought her a couple little animals from Tractor Supply. She loves them things. We sat down and played. Of course, I have to have someone help me up after I sit down for more 5 minutes in the floor. And she, let's just say she passed gas. And I said, "Honey, did you fart?" She went, "Yep." I said, "Did you poop?" "Not yet." Like that. So at least she's honest, But she's such a sweet child. Finally getting some hair on her head, for God's sakes. But she's looked like me since she was born. And
Pity that child.
yeah, she's still beautiful. She's still beautiful. God, she's so beautiful. I can't tell you, I'm the proudest grandpappy in the world. I love being a granddad, But that's about it. Hopefully, I get to see her here soon. So,
Let my thing charge.
Well, thanks for being here, brother. We appreciate you. And 6, what you got coming up, brother?
Oh, right now I'm finishing up a project that I'm working on for this guy up here.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Got one there hot off the press right now. I'm going there and pull it off in a few minutes. Going to try to get some loading done this week. We've been hammered with rain all week long. It was really nasty a while ago north of us where my cowboy range was. So I don't think I'm going shooting cowboy in the morning. So that's about all I've got planned.
I understand. Hope you get to sleep in, buddy. Well, thank you for being here, man.
Thanks for
And
letting me be here.
you guys, if you want to see a 94 in action, Six got some videos of him shooting his at the cowboy thing over there. So, just saying. Mr. Hillbilly Up, what you got coming up this week?
Oh man, I have definitely some videos coming out. Tomorrow night we got Guns Bearing Therapy. That's right after Brooke Cheney's her show starts an hour early before that. So, and then after that we got DM Foss. So, come visit us all on Saturday nights. Guns Bearing Therapy starts at 9 o'clock Central, and somebody just texted me a while ago and said, "You realize you're only 2 subscribers away from 2,600?" And so I went and looked. I'm like, I'll be darned. So hopefully I can hit that here
Good
before
deal.
too long.
Congratulations.
Well, thanks. But yeah, I actually have some suppressor videos coming out. Should be out this week, and then I got Bear Creek Arsenal sent me their bolt action 350 Legend, so I'll be having some videos of that coming out. So I'm excited about that also.
Yeah, I'm interested in
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thanks for having me on, fellas.
Well, thanks for being here, man. We appreciate all you guys. CW, what you got coming up?
Well, just like Hillbilly, I got a bolt action Bear Creek Arsenal coming in too.
Awesome.
Mine's in 458 SoCal.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be fun. See
Oh,
where
yeah.
that goes. I got a surprise video for everybody tomorrow. I've been called a hater, so I got a video coming out about that. And then I got, I think I got an extra 2 videos next week instead of the usual 2. I think there's 4. And we're going to talk about the new 400 Legend that I just got. And what else do I do? We talk about some powder fouling from the Thompson Center Contenders. There isn't any, but we're going to talk about it. And what's another video I get? I think it's, we're going to talk about the new 357 carbine at the range, 357 Herrick carbine at the range. And give you a little sneak peek, something that just came in tonight. We got a Zulus 5-20 we're going to be doing some videos with. So we can talk about that. That's going to be fun. This is a cute little day-night vision scope. Very, very tiny. Very, very light. So that's going to be exciting. You watch those coming up. And that's about it. I want to thank everybody on the panel. I want to thank everybody in the side chat as always. You know, you guys are why we're here. Otherwise, we'd just be talking, you know, the 6, 7 of us by ourselves. So we're really happy we got all you guys in the side chat, and really appreciate you coming every week, hanging out with us. We really enjoy seeing and talking to all of you. So I just want to thank everybody. Jamie, how was your week? What do you got coming up?
I'm going to sleep tomorrow. Got to cut grass, haul trash to the dump, cut shrubs. You
Walk the dog?
Walk the dogs every evening. And that's what I do.
Thanks, Tread.
Yeah. There's the Georgia Shooting Connection channel. There's my channel if y'all want to go over there and check it out. Anyway, we hope you guys will subscribe to the Georgia Shooting Connection channel. We don't do that. We don't ask probably like we should, but yeah, give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you feel led. Other than that, we love you and ain't nothing you can do about it. Pray for
Father's Day Sunday. I forgot.
Pray for pray for Israel, y'all. With all the protests going on, keep your head on a swivel if you're out about town, And for goodness sake, remember your dad on Father's Day. And GGW says, go dogs. And we bless you all real good. And if he's willing, we'll see y'all next Friday night at 8 o'clock.